Die Lage im Iran spitzt sich weiter zu. In seiner aktuellen Podcast-Folge spricht Constantin Schreiber mit Politico-Chefkorrespondent Tim Ross über die Entwicklungen im Land und analysiert die Rolle Europas.
What role does Europe play? Do we play any role at all? So what's your stance? What's your point of view?
For Europe, one of the things that has certainly been frustrating for opponents of the regime is that Europe doesn't tend to do very much other than talk. I mean, there are sanctions, there are long-running sanctions, but this is the classic European foreign policy dilemma. It's difficult to get involved in a dynamic which is so dominated by relations with the United States and Israel, of course. And we've seen that in Gaza and elsewhere. But I think certainly for Europe, what the regime's opponents want is action as well as just warm words of support for people who are putting their lives at risk and in many cases losing their lives on the streets of Iranian cities and towns. And that will include more sanctions. It will include action against diplomats. Particularly, we saw yesterday that the European Parliament has banned Iranian diplomats and officials from entering any of its premises. At any of the three locations. I think that's the sort of very, very minor act that, is the least that they can do, as they admit. But in terms of the West more broadly, you've got Donald Trump, who is saying very clearly that he's prepared to get involved in some form. He's been reviewing military options and will be, again, I think, today looking at the military options for another round of strikes on Iran, potentially. But there is a lot of other action that could be taken short of military action. For example, we talked about Starlink earlier on, but restoring the communications would be one thing that would be a great benefit for the opposition movements. Also a cyber attack on the regime's communications and those kind of structures of some sort, taking down that propaganda machine, and also to make it more difficult for those security forces to communicate among themselves and orchestrate their crackdown. These are the kind of things that would be short of military action that could really make a difference, because it's, in a way, people like Pahlavi only really have the airwaves, they only have the media by which to affect change. And those communications are so vital for the protesters right now.